sometimes we have distorted predictions. God designed our mind to be able to process a potential outcome. That is something that other creatures don't necessarily have the ability to do. We have the ability. That is a God design. Having God's DNA in us, He gave us a fraction of who He is and His ability to see from the beginning and the end. And He allowed us to be able to project with our thoughts, what could the potential outcome be if I XYZ?
All that God does in us, all that Christ does in us, is to reproduce His character in us. And God's character is represented by principles of love.
But understand, it's a process. It's a process. Sometimes we don't want to go through the process, so we abandon God's words. Don't abandon God's word in your process. Don't abandon God's words in your process. In John 17:17, He says, sanctify them through thy word. Thy word is truth. See, there are many things we can't trust in this life, but I can guarantee you, you can trust God's word.
But then faith, what faith does for us, it is faith that keeps us in the workshop. While God is working in us, it is our belief in the things of God. It is our acceptance and obedience to the things of God that help us to remain connected with Him. Just like I said, Christ says, we must abide in Him. It is by faith that we abide in Him.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another exciting episode of Zoom Hope Live. It is so good to be back. Oh, wow. It has been a long journey, a long time since we have connected in this way. And there's so many things that happened since our last episode. And of course, we are back, just expecting to have a great time with you, and we are going to engage into true discussion today. Well, of course, you know what to do. Go to our website, zoomhopelive.org, and right over there, you know what to do. Read the blogs, look at the past episode, and be a part of the Zoom Hope Live family. Please feel free today to ask your questions, share your opinions right there in the chat, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. And by the way, seeing that we're talking about our social media apps, we just want you to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Please follow us. Not just follow us. We want you to like and share what is happening. And if you're on, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. So let's please he's still here dancing. All right. So let's get the subscription up. Be a part of the family. Don't forget to ring the notification bell, please, because we want you to be notified whenever we go live. And I know it has been a while since we have been on Zoom Hope Live, but we are back and we want to get our audience back. And you know why I have transitioned? I'm now living in Maryland. My family and I, we have moved and we are living in Maryland in the Washington area, and it is good. So we are connecting from the Bahamas with Spence, of course, and I'm now away. So welcome to Zoom Hope Live, and today we're going to definitely have an engaging conversation as we just go into the discussion. Well, today we have two guests that I know you will be happy that we have them on, and of course, with my two new friends from right here at the Restoration Praise Center in Bowie, Maryland. And the first I'll ask to come on and introduce herself, we chit-chat a little bit, is Dr. Felicia Simmons. So she's here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed and highly seasoned. Man, welcome to Zoom Up Live, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome. No, I would normally say for the Zoom Up Live family, tell us a little bit more so they can know you, because most of my guests I know everything, but we have just met, and I remembered it was a conversation you were engaged in, and as a result of that, right after that program at church, I came to you and asked you to be on Zoom Up Live, and now you are here. But I'd like to know a little bit about you. And of course, definitely the Zoom Up Live family would like to know a little bit about you. So tell us, who is Felicia?
Well, I am Dr. Felicia Simmons. I do have a story, but I'll give you just a little bit. Again,
Okay.
hello, everyone. I am Dr. Felicia Simmons. I am the 504 facilitator. I'm an educator here in Maryland. I have been an educator for 24 years.
Wow.
I am a lead administrator for summer school, for evening school. 504 facilitator pretty much deals with our students that have special needs, like special education. So I'm very happy to work with those students. Education is my passion. As you can see, I've been here for 24 years. Born and raised in North Carolina. And, I just love what I do. So I am very happy to be here today to just share my experiences with you.
Right. Someone asked, what is the 501 facilitator all about?
So 504 facilitator, for example, if I have a student at my school that may be blind in one eye, for example, they may need accommodations to sit in the front, near the front, so that they can be academically successful, because sitting in the back will not benefit that student at all. So we
Right.
want to make sure that that student receive the services that they need
Uh,
in the classroom to be academically successful.
oh, thank you so much. So
Absolutely.
we're looking forward to the conversation. We're going to engage in that, but we'll talk a little bit later
Sure.
as it relates to that. Thank you so much. Well, so our next guest is also an awesome lady. Oh man, I'm just so blessed to have met her, and that's Mrs. Janie Cadet. And I hope that I get your name correct. Right? All right. So welcome, Janie, to Zoom Up Live today.
Thank you for having me, Larry. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit about you, about yourself, because you're one of those persons who were on that panel discussing the whole matter of choosing a school or what to do when you're in, a school setting. And, I was really fascinated by the discussion, and you consented to be on Zoom Up Live. So tell us a little bit about who is Jenny?
So, I work for the University of Maryland in College Park, which is the flagship campus of the University of Maryland system
Right.
here in the state. I have been working in higher ed, which is
Mhm.
the sector of education for college students, 18 and above, since 2005. For 17 years, I've been in this field. Um, and I've had an array of jobs in higher ed. I started out in residence life. And for those who don't know what that is I actually lived with the students on campus.
Yeah.
And
In
so,
some places they call it the RA, not
yeah,
RA.
yes, I was actually an
Mhm.
RA in undergrad. And
Yeah.
actually, it was that experience in undergrad that really propelled me to pursue this field much later on in life.
Oh,
And so when I decided to, and I'll talk about my career change later, but when I decided to dabble into higher ed, I got my start in residence life as a resident director.
right.
And so I did that work for 7 years. And I think that was one of the best professional experiences I had, because I really got to know college students outside of the classroom.
Mhm.
And so when we're thinking of academia, college, you're thinking of lectures and, what takes place in the classroom. But I've come to learn that the college experience is just as much as what takes place in the outside of the classroom, how
Yeah.
that impacts the student development as much as it does inside it. And these are the experiences that actually help to shape some of the decisions that our students make in terms of what they want to do later on in life. And I
Awesome.
also experienced that as well too. Currently, I am the assistant director for admissions, recruitment, and persistence for College Park Scholars, which is a living learning program on campus. There are many of them. And so I've been with Scholars for 10 years. And I absolutely love what I do because I've been able to work with students, again, outside of the classroom, getting them involved, because that is very, very important. You want to make sure students tap into their own potential, their own skills outside of what they know up here, right? Preparing them for the job force, preparing them to be leaders in their respective fields, and empowering our college students the minute they get on campus until they walk across that stage. I am passionate about this particular age group. I love these students. I can have honest and raw conversations with them. And one of the reasons why I got into this field is because I'm also a first generation college student, and I didn't have anyone who looked like me to help me navigate college. And so it was a very intimidating process and experience. And I since then vowed to make sure that I advocate for students who really don't know what the college experience is, and help manage their expectations. And so I'm happy to talk a little bit more about that throughout this program. So folks, get your questions ready, and I will do my very best to answer those. But that is Jeannie in a nutshell.
Wow, yeah, you're awesome. You're awesome, honestly. And I know I'm just excited to hear this discussion as we engage in it. Thank you so much, Jeannie, and we will talk a little bit later. So, Zoom Up family, the theme today that we are discussing, it's something that is intimate. It's about education. We're looking at the practices and the tools that are necessary as one pursue their passion, their call that the Lord has placed upon their lives. So we're going to get right back to the discussion. But just before we do so, we are going to take it a little bit, get some vibes into place. Let's listen to Dale Brown, Naga Complain.
Ha! Naga complain, Yo. Me nah go complain. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. Yeah. I get down on my knees and pray, me nah go complain. Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain. Work hard every night and day. Success don't come overnight, don't watch the hype, Enough how we a struggle and enough how we a fight, and we can't get a bite. We nah lose hope, nah lose we drive. We nah stop try till we dream come alive. See, that's okay, that's alright, cause my God will step in. Me nah go complain. Yeah. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. Nah go complain. Get down on my knees and pray, me nah go complain. Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain. I feel work hard every night and day. I was born in the islands, yeah, and now I'm living in a strange land. But I will never ever stray from the original God plan. See, everything have a season, and everything happen for a reason. So trust the Most High, everything alright. One holy faith, me nah go complain. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. I get down on my knees and pray, me nah go complain. Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain. Work hard every night and day. Listen, see, no matter how hard it may get, don't you lose hope. See, this is the time to know that God is in control. Please It's gonna get. I get down on my knees and pray. It's gonna get. Though the system not go my way.
Listen, 2020 has been a rough year. For the books, probably the worst yet. But every day we get a chance to be a better version of ourselves. So we're just going to keep pushing. Every single day, every day we wake up, try to be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. Complaining now make it get no better.
Me nah go complain. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. I get down on my knees and pray. Me nah go complain. Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain. Work hard every night and day.
Me not gonna complain. You all right? Make sure you can show that shoulder, because we're not gonna complain. No complaining in the house. What we're gonna do, we're gonna really Zoom hope live. That's what it's all about, hope. It's all about making sure that hope is actually trending in your life. So the discussion, we're gonna jump right into it. Again, we have Felicia and we have Janie, who are here with us to engage in this discussion on education, best practices, and tools to pursue your passion. It's already September. School is in high gear, but of course, we know there are many, as they're dealing with the baggages of school, they want the practices and the tools to pursue that path towards their call. So I'm just going to throw this out there, and Felicia, perhaps you could just start it off for us, Doc. What is education and how does it influence one's purpose?
Well, for me, that question, Larry, when I think of that question being in the education realm, education provides individuals with lots of opportunities to be successful. Like, it provides learning skills. It can provide trades, because not all of our students, by me being in the high school sector, the secondary sector, not all of our, I call them babies, not all of our babies want to go to college. You know, school is not for everyone. College is not for everyone. So they want to do a trade. They want to do something. So they want to do a trade to reach their goals. They have goals set in life also, but it may not be to go to college, but they want to be successful in life. And, you know, it prepares them to work with people around the world. And, you know, if they can be successful with a trade, or if, you know, going to a 2-year university, a 4-year university, then it will lead them to live a much healthier and a much healthier life. So the influence there, you know, they see their friends in high school walking down the hallways, and they get excited when in the high school sector, when we say, hey, we announce it over the PA that this student has been accepted into college, and they see their peers getting accepted into college. And there's the influence there. I want to apply to college. I want to take the SAT. I want to take the ACT. And I want to get in there too. Hey, can you help me? And, you know, that's my job. That's why I am there, to help you get into school, or for that trade, whatever it is you desire. I am there to help you be successful. So there's a lot of influence even with their peers.
Right. I really like the way in which you take it from the standpoint of, you know, even looking at education as a rounded experience, you know, not just something that is tied to school,
Yes,
as we know it from the term, but we know school, you're bringing it from the purpose of the whole life,
yes,
and one can be shaped within that experiences. And you end it by saying that shaping even happens
yes.
with peers.
That's
I
correct.
really appreciate that. So, Janie, from your scope, what is this? What is education? And tell us.
Right. You kind of hit on it just a second ago. And What I wanted to say, my definition of education is it takes place in several venues and several areas in your life. Of course, it starts in the home. You educated at home, at church, in your neighborhood, by your village, in addition to the school and classroom setting. Um, Education is a holistic experience that is, helps to form inside and out, forms you inside and outside, right? Um, and it's also something that takes place inside and outside of the classroom, the traditional classroom that we are used to. And I think overall it helps to develop the whole person. And as a student is going through that journey of education, whether you start from pre-K all the way to post-grad, I think these experiences really help to shape your goals, your ideals in life, what you want to be when you grow up, or even exploring what you think you want to be when you grow up. I work with college students, and they change their minds quite a bit. There are a good handful that start out as a law degree, right? Pursuance, and they do pursue a law degree 5-6 years later. But I also have students who literally check off every major in the book, and that's okay. College is the time it's where you explore, right? All of your strengths and interests, right? You have time to declare a major. You have time to take classes to see if, it hits your sweet spot or not. I really do encourage students, especially those who are undecided, to use their education, the classes that they're taking, to really start taking stock of what it is that they are good at and what they think they will enjoy doing. And I think when you combine those two things, what you enjoy doing and what you're good at, I think that's a really good start to a career. And you may not always land on it right away after you graduate. It might take years, and that's also part of your development.
Yeah, that's powerful, and I see Felicia actually nodding her head, so perhaps she wants to put something there. But as you talk about that joy that one must have when it comes on to pursuing one's purpose, one's call, that's an important part that we should not miss. And I just want to say this to the viewers: we're looking for your comments and your questions. I saw our social media contributor, Colin Major, already posted something in that vein, Janie. This is what he said. He said, what I influence, or what is influence one passion? Something you love. Passion is the love for something. If you don't love it, you won't embrace it and care for it. Alfred Tennyson said, if I had a flower for every time I thought of you, I could walk through my garden forever. That's love. This is what passion does for you. If you really love it, you will forever do it. If it is really in your heart, you won't ever let it go. Wow. There's so many things that floods through my being, my brain, as I read that, as I listened to you just now. The idea of loving what you do, and you're saying that education, it plays a part in helping you to discover even more what you love.
I would like to comment on that quote, Mr. Major, that just put up. That is definitely true, because again, I'm in the high school level, secondary level, and as I watch the students come through from 9th grade to 12th grade, and then they graduate, and we have another set of students. They just rotate and rotate and rotate. And then I look at the educators that has been in the system longer than I have. When I say longer, they've been in the system 50 years. And I'm like, wow, you've been in the system 50 years. You're past your retirement. Why are you still here? But it's that passion. And it is that I can't leave, because the many lives that I touch And the students that come through here that are yearning to get out of here because of, it could be the neighborhoods they're living in, it could be I need to do something for my families, it could be I need to do something for myself. I just need to get out. And so I need that help. I need that extra push. And the students look at the educators, their teachers, because if you realize we are with them majority of their day. They are there in the building with us from 7 in the morning until 3 in the evening. And they look at us and we are their role models. I want to be just like her. I want to be just like him. I want to be a school counselor because she's helped me so much. She's influencing me. I want to be like her. So we try and help a lot of students that come through there. It's amazing how many students, I don't know what I want to do. And then when they leave, they come back to us and they say, I am now in education because of you.
Right.
So we prepare them in my sector to get to Jeannie.
And yeah, well, and when Jeannie gets them some man, no, we have to help them not to be switching when they reach a fourth year. So it's a package where the transition, it's not in isolation, but it's within the community model, from what you're saying. So the question on my mind then is, within this community of educators, where you are in the high school level, somewhat might be in elementary, and another in the tertiary institution, what can educators do to enhance learning, this experience of learning that is ultimately responsible or is a key ingredient in an individual pursuing that which they really love?
The key ingredient to help students learn is get to know them. It's as simple as that. You have to get to know your students. Don't just be a body standing outside of your door. Come on in, come on in. No, you have to, good morning, Felicia. How are you doing this morning? Get to know your students by name. Learn a little bit about them. How do we do that?
Yeah.
We attend the student-led events. If you have a student that plays basketball, go and check them out. Go and see them. Go see them play ball. Nothing warms a student's heart to see, oh my teacher is here. I have to do my best tonight. My teacher's here. My teacher's here. If you have a cheerleader, oh, my teacher's here. They came to see me play. And make sure they see you. Hi, Felicia, I'm here. And you will see the shine on that student's face. Oh my, I can't believe you came to my game. It's the small things that let the students know my teacher cares what I'm doing. Knock on their doors and say, hey, I just wanted to drop off some flowers to your home. I hope that's okay with your mom. Just the simple things. But that key ingredient is get to know them, check on them, go to each of their classes, talk to their teachers. Me, as being an administrator, I check on my students with their teachers. Hey, what's going on in your classes? I noticed a pattern that you were out last week. Just want to make sure you're okay. Is there anything I need to know or anything I can do? And they're like, oh, you noticed? Yes, I noticed. You were in the hallways where I normally see you. So it makes a difference that that student noticed that I noticed they were not there. So it's those key, identify their learning styles as an educator in the classroom, a teacher in the classroom. How does this student learn? So it's those things that makes a difference for the students when the teachers pay attention to their students in the classroom. And you will be surprised how it affects their learning pattern. You will see the GPAs rise. You will see the attendance rise. You will see that. You will see it immediately. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Jeannie.
Okay, all right. So in the college setting, I like to say meet students where they are. Because as you know, in college, everyone has a different schedule. They might have a class at 8 in the morning and they might have a class at 7:30 at night. So being flexible and understanding of that, and that they may be in various locations in between the day. Meet them where they are physically sometimes, right? But also meet them where they are developmentally. So whether you're teaching, whether you're advising, whether you are instructing or mentoring, you want to understand what captures their interest, right? And learn how to best engage them, right? And sometimes it is something as simple as a conversation talking about, maybe something that they are passionate about, and how you could help connect them to a resource on campus that will feed into that passion of theirs, right? But also be ready to challenge and support your students. And that takes place on so many levels. That could take place in the classroom, like you push your students because they have the capability to do more than what they are showing. But also support them along the way, because sometimes this particular age group, especially in college, they could lose interest fast, get bored, or be discouraged. So you want to support them along the way as well. Now, all of these things will help to enhance their ability to learn, to comprehend, to absorb, material that they're learning. And again, kind of back to meet them where they are. For me, I'm a staff member on campus, and I do advise and I do mentor students. And for example, last week, I'm an advisor for a student club. And so they had an interest meeting at 8:30 at night on campus. I just happened to just be getting out of a class that I was teaching at 8:30 and then decided to troop over across campus to sit in this interest meeting with other students. It's late. I could have, decided to go straight home, but there was something powerful about having a staff member take the time out of their day, especially being this late, and show face and being an active part of this meeting, just introducing myself and letting them know that I am here to connect you to resources on campus to help your club grow and thrive. And it means the absolute world to these students to see an adult in the room, especially given that time of night in the middle of the week. And these are things that will stick with the students over time, because they remember that you put in that time. And that's part of meet them where they are. And that has always kind of been something that I live by in the work that I do with students, because it's not a 9-to-5 job at all. And that's something that I accept and that I embrace. But the students will remember that for years to come.
Right. Man, I am moved by that, because both of you are really on the same chord. If I would find a word, I would say incarnational teaching. And the word that is normally used in the classroom for teachers is pedagogy. I believe that's the word. That it's more about imparting. But what you're saying is more than that. It's showing up in the life of the student, not just showing up to the classroom to impart, a particular curriculum, but showing up in the life of the student, whether it is in the library, whether it is at the football game, as Felicia said, but making sure that you do what is necessary to show that you are invested in the life of the student. And the truth is, as I reflect on my own journey in school, because I'm a stammering guy growing up, right? Still have a little bit of it, but there were teachers who to me, that was what makes them different. That was what actually separate them. Those that were invested in me as a person, rather in comparison to those who were just showing up to perhaps a 9 to 3 or 5 job, just to with the chalk and the chalkboard and the duster, to impart something. But there were those who were interested in my life. And I realized that not only do I learn better in those classes, but I feel more empowered to think I feel more empowered to search myself, to understand more what it is that I love. So I really appreciate what you have contributed just now. Please go ahead and share some more. I'm listening, and I know the viewers are as well. Anyone else? Do you have any other take on this? What teachers you talk about incarnational ministry, incarnational teaching? Are there any other tools that educators might apply in the whole didactic experience of transmitting learning to build one passion?
I can speak a little bit to what we do in our program, College Park Scholars. We use a lot of experiential learning as this is a terminology that we use a lot in the classroom, because it's not just the books or the research or the physical hard materials that students are learning from. We want them to have hands-on experience, right? So we take them outside in the classroom, we connect them with internships, through service learning, through working with actual people and actual physical tools so that they can physically apply what they learn in the classroom to real life, right? So preparing them for the real world, even as students. And I think that's really, really important because we're helping them to develop not just hard skills, but also soft skills and being able to interact with people, being able to interact with different populations of people with different needs, being able to apply, some of the core knowledge, whether it's in engineering, whether it's in physics or comp sci, public health, pre-med students and whatnot, and taking it out there. And as early as freshman year, they're starting to get a taste of what this could be like as an actual profession. So that's another tool that we like to utilize with students, because that also, there's something about when you do things hands-on, you get a better sense if this is something that you actually want to do later on, or is something that you actually enjoy doing. For me, like I actually was an accounting student in college. And I think it was important that I got a taste of it to make sure this is what I wanted to do, because it sounds appealing and all that great stuff. I had great internships all throughout undergrad, but it was during those internships, I'm like, yeah, this is too dry for me. It's not that I wasn't good at it. The passion was not there. The passion was not there. And so although I graduated with my degree in accounting information systems and did that for a few years after graduation, there was that fire just wasn't there. And so I had to revisit some things and explore some other talents and gifts that I had, which brought me back to higher ed. Because as an undergraduate student, I remember all the things that I was involved in, hands-on, that I absolutely love to do. Happy doing it, and it didn't feel like work. And so I took that knowledge, those memories, and that experience, and I realized I could get a degree in this, and I could do this for work. And I've been doing it ever since 2005. And I'll tell you, and I tell my students this, I do not feel like I am working a day in my life. I always joke to my students. I joke to my students that I'm going home to work, but coming to campus, I do not feel like I'm working, and my students see that. And so that's why I challenge them, think about what you're good at and what you enjoy doing, and what will pay your bills, what will make you some money. And sometimes it's okay to revisit that later on in life.
Right. I'm hearing you saying for the students, it's important to encourage ways for them to have opportunities to encounter their passion even before they choose where they're going. And that's really important, because by you encountering that, you say, you know what, I can do this, but I don't feel I have that passion. I don't feel this is what I truly love. And that's important. And even if it's not only to just do it to say whether or not I love this, but when you have that on the ground experience. It is actually giving you, as I've just said, experience. Uh, one of the things that it normally boggles my mind, but not anymore. I totally understand it. When you apply for a job, just leaving college or perhaps high school, and they ask you, "What's your experience?" Right? And I used to say, but I'm just coming out of school. How can I have an experience if I don't get a job? But here you're saying that educators have a responsibility to help the student with knowing the importance of having those experiences to sharpen themselves in their passion. So I really appreciate that.
That's important. And in many programs and even degree requirements, internships are part of that, right? They start to help build the student portfolio as soon as they get to campus. And it kind of goes back to what you said, just to make sure that this is something that you could really invest your time and your being in.
Right. Felicia, do you have a point on this?
I have what just hit me. You said, employers normally ask about your experience when you're filling out the applications. Well, this may be a little totally off of what you and Jeannie were just speaking about, but what kind of bothers my spirit a little bit working with 504s. I know someone asked what was 504. 504, and I'll explain that for anyone that did not hear earlier. My job is to make sure students under the special education sector are receiving accommodations in the classroom. So if I have a student, and this is my point, if I have a student that is taking a test and that student is diagnosed from a physician with test anxiety or with the anxiety disorder, then I automatically know that I need to write a 504 so that the teachers will know that this student has anxiety. So therefore they may need a little longer or more time to complete their test. So they may not complete their test today. They may complete their test next class period. And what bothers me, if my student apply to a university or to a college, that university or college may require them to take the SAT or the ACT. And I know that that student has anxiety. That student automatically may feel as though I am not going to get the required score to enter into that college of my choice. So I'm hoping and praying that the SAT, the ACT, maybe they need to change the score requirement or just do away with it, because we have extremely smart students that have anxiety. They are diagnosed with ADHD, but they can do the work.
Yes.
But when they see these questions in front of them and it is based on a test to tell me I cannot get into this college because I may not get the score, but I see all these questions and I'm so confused and I don't remember from August to June. I just don't remember.
That resonate, right? And even not only within the let me say this, within the college system, but in life.
Yes.
Let me just in a nutshell share this, right? And I'm sharing it because it's really intimate and it hits something. Because once called or one's passion is divine ordained, right? So it's not to be trifled with or to just ignore or just say, you know what, I'm in charge. And what it's to be looked at through the lens of God has called this individual to pursue this passion. I am in this seat. How can I help that person, that individual, to be most comfortable in getting to where the Lord has destined them to be? It's very important. I was talking to one of my colleagues who was ordained in a conference here in North American Division. And he said when he went to that ordination interview, and I'm a pastor, that's why I'm relating on this level. That's my passion, right? He said when he went to that interview, the first thing he was told by the president, the ministerial director, and those that were there. So look here, you have been serving faithfully as a pastor. And this here is just to talk to you, to encourage you as we affirm God's call on your life. That's in one setting. In another setting, where another one of my friend who has been engaged in ministry, who has been doing exceptionally well. I'm talking about baptizing hundreds of people. He also was called to an ordination interview, and he failed. And I'm like, wow, how do you do that? How do you do that? Because in whatever setting that we are in, it should be to help someone to get to fulfill their passion that the Lord has called them to, and not to see it as a way, all right, you can't come in, you can't do this, but it should be an avenue to help an individual do what the Lord has purposed them to do. I appreciate that. Now, Colin says, encouraging opportunities. Not everyone will have to. If we could get it a little bit bigger. Thank you, Spence. So encouraging opportunities. Not everyone will have to experiment with entry-level jobs and find a good match. Therefore, students should be given opportunities during their education to a variety of real life experiences. That's what both of you have also been saying. And he has some other tools, and I hope we can see just a few of these. I might not read all of it. So here are the ideas on how to help them uncover their passion. Colin, these are nice. And notice what the student does when they have free time. Notice what they like reading or watching on TV. For the parents, be aware of their skills, the old community approach, what they are good at. These skills will make related activities easier. Being something that excel at and have more fun doing. This is awesome. You say have all the students, take aptitude test to see how their attributes fit common jobs, career, or other interests. Encourage students to participate in clubs that includes people. And I guess I might miss some of it, but I get the gist of what he's saying. It's about really taking that approach of studying what someone likes. So if that student always picking up those novels that deals with maybe uncovering secrets and issues, maybe that person wants to go in law or something in that area. If that after you see that child come into school, always have a ball in the hand. Put that ball down. Find a way in the classroom, in your scope, to see how can I encourage that person in that area. That's very much on target. Now, we're gonna move right over to a next question. What are the best practices? And this is particularly for the student, us, in life, everyone. What are those best practices for achieving educational excellence? Jenny, you could start, please.
Sure. For me, it's quite simple. Be curious, ask questions, and that's really key and really important.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that from my own experience when I was in college. Came out of high school. I was a stellar student in high school, but came to college and got really shy.
Right.
And I failed to ask questions, right? I kind of reverted in my shell because I didn't understand the material.
Mhm.
And so instead of asking questions, I struggled a little bit, and I struggled in silence. And it wasn't until later on, a couple years later, I was connected with mentors I was connected with counselors and advisors that really helped me, that stuck their necks out for me. And I kind of wish I had expressed how much I was struggling a lot sooner, because I probably would have gotten that help a lot sooner.
Yeah.
So I always tell students now, ask questions. You're not going to be the dumb one or the slow one in the classroom, you know, because that's what the professors and instructors and the GAs are there for. There are some lectures that have, you know, 3-4 GAs on top of a head professor, right? They're there to help you, to guide you through the material. And the other thing in terms of a best practice for students is to utilize all of the student resources that are free and available to students on campus. There are countless resources and centers and offices and departments and units that are very specifically designed for the student experience. You know, we have tutoring services, we have guided study sessions, you know, there are mentoring programs that are available for students. There are counseling programs that are available for students. You know, Felicia touched on students that might have, you know, either a learning disability or a delay or require accommodations. There are countless units on campus that actually offer these students these services, and I stress for free, because you're paying for them. You know, for these students to be able to achieve academic success, you have to be aware that you are in need of this additional support or support at all. You have to be honest with yourself and be like, I need help. And sometimes you can just relay that information to a roommate or a friend who could then connect you to somebody else.
Right.
And so that is one of the things that I help students with a lot. And if I sense that they might be struggling and they might be a little too shy, because I was there, especially our students of color, at attending PWIs, which are predominantly white institutions. There's a level of intimidation factor that plays a huge role in their hindrance.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to be able to empower those students to seek the help that is already there waiting for them. And so that is one of the things that I wanted to share in terms of best practices for students.
Right. And even before Felicia just tuned right in, and you talk about mentorship, right? And in many cases, mentorship relationships are really accessible. But very few persons actually choose them. And one might say, you know, if someone is there to help, why don't they offer themselves? And while that is good, and that's a good question, it is more important for the mentee to choose a mentor. So you have to look and say, listen, I need this kind of encouragement. You know, I need this kind of push, and I'm going to find the persons who are there at my disposal, the things that are there at my disposal, and I am going to latch onto those things so that I can eventually be comfortable in my passion, or say passion pursued. You know, so that's a very powerful point that you have just made there.
And you know, I believe that I will have to say to have goals. It's like Jeannie said, it's simple. You have goals for my high school students. They're just starting, they're young adults, and we teach them, listen, you're coming in the door as a freshman, you need to have goals. Set small goals. Okay? Because you can't handle right now those big goals. So you need to set small goals. You need to stay focused. We'll teach you how to stay focused. All you have to do is stay in class. That's all you got to do, stay in class. Very simple, stay in class. So you set your goals, you stay focused, you work hard and strive for excellence. And here, there's no giving up. There's no giving up. Yeah, so, you know, I will use myself for an example, and I tell my own children this. We set our goals. When I went to college in 1996, I said, "Ooh, high school was easy. That was easy peasy for me. No problems at all." But when I got to college, it was a whole different ball game. I'm like, okay, I have to get a journal, I have to get a calendar, I have to get all of these things to keep my life together, and I have to set Small goals. What am I going to reach by the end of first semester? Because in my mind, what am I going to do all year? That was not the way to do it. What am I going to do just this semester? Because for me back then, that semester was huge. So I need to make sure I set small goals for my college years. And I needed to make sure I set those small goals and realize and figure out how can I get out of here early. Money is limited. I need to get out of here early because I knew I wanted to get a master's degree. How can I set a goal to get my master's degree? Because I want to go in education and I need to make all the money that I can. And then after that master's degree, I need to set this goal so that I can get my doctorate degree. And is there anything after the doctorate degree? Because I'm going for that too, because I need to make money because I have children to raise and I need to be an example for my children. I need to be an example for other children out there that's looking up to me. And how can I help them? So small goals, stay focused, no giving up. And I didn't give up. I did not give up. So, everything that I chase, I chase it until I'm done. And I teach the students in my school, let's go and get it. I'm going to help you as far as I can. I will help you, but you have to be hungry for it. So, that's what we teach. That's what I tell the children. That's what we teach the young adults at my school. So I would say, have goals.
Yeah. Right on targets. You have taken that armor and you have hit that nail right on the head. So there's a responsibility for, the one who is pursuing. Things not just gonna fall in place because you have a dream. Someone said, if you have dreams and you don't have goals, that's living a nightmare. You're gonna wake up in a nightmare, right? So you're saying, Felicia, set those goals, and have the tenacity to stick to it.
That's absolutely correct.
Of the situation, as you say, don't give up. Don't give up in the pursuit. Don't give up in the process. But those small goals are achievable. It's Denzel Washington. He says, set daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals. You have to set these goals and pursue them. So that's a powerful point there, in achieving one's passion. Any other input on this question here?
No, I think that for me, that pretty much sums it up. Just, setting those goals and making sure that our students understand how to write their goals, because that's also important as well, as long as they know how to write the goals. So, we do have to teach each other how to write goals. Not everybody know, especially our young adults, and depending on where they're coming from, the household that they're coming from, because a lot of our students, their parents are not educated, and their goal is, I need to be educated because I want to help my family. Those are goals that a lot of our students have. So we have to teach them, let's start small. First you have to get out of high school. So let's start small. Let's start with your semester goals. And passing your classes, staying in class, and out of my hallway so that I don't see you. Those are goals that we need to make sure we
as insignificant as it might be. And you said it a couple of times. You have said that one line.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, man, you're maybe that teacher that no one wants to see.
Yeah, right. Yes. I am her.
That they should be in. It says stay in the classroom. But that's a goal. That's a goal. Because once you're elsewhere, you will not be in the classroom. And being in the classroom, it does not mean that you're just ducking class. It might be that you're not in the classroom because the night before you're up too late playing games or watching the movies or doing things that drains you, so you turn up to school late, or you turn up to school early but in the classroom and you're not really there. So write those goals. That's what I'm getting for you. That will help you to achieve the success in the classroom. So if I have an assignment, the goals would be, should I wait until the day before to cram on a paper, get it in, and maybe scrape through with a pass, or maybe get an A? Or should I not procrastinate and make sure that I apply myself to the process of learning? So the whole idea of staying in the classroom, it rings a bell for me, physically as well as mentally, being engaged in the process of learning. It's the first step in writing your goal. Colin says, goal requires persistent action. Right. Yes, it's a goals require persistent action. And he follows it up by saying, take action to make the goal a reality. So whatever those goals are, what are the actions? What are the actions to reach those goals? What am I going to do? What are those objectives that I will have to make sure that I'm able to tick off to reach my, my primary goal? So that's it. It's not gonna come by fluke or luck, but it's going to take some action. It's going to take some persistence. It's going to take some grind to be able to get there. One of the thing, and I might say this, right, that many persons give up because in the process is because they might not have the resources that they thought they need to achieve their goal. So that's when it is necessary to put those things on paper and find out, I don't have these things that are necessary for me to become an entrepreneur, a pilot, or a carpenter, or mechanic, a doctor, or a lawyer. I don't have those things to be a pastor, but I need them. So place those things on the paper, put it on the drawing board, and say, okay, what will it take? What kind of action will be necessary from me, from others, so that I might achieve this purpose or this call, this deep call that is on my heart? Yeah, so thank you. So do you have any more input on this before I move to the next discussion point? Okay.
No, I think that's it.
All right. So, what guidelines can you give youth and parents when it comes to choosing a career path, a school, a college, and or a university?
I can start
Yes.
by saying, do your research. There are tons of schools, colleges. You could start with a, community college, vocational school, trade school, all the way up to a traditional 4-year institution. But it's important that students and parents come together and, take inventory of, what majors are offered, what majors align with your goals, right?
Yeah.
What programs align with your goals, what schools have those majors and programs. I always tell students, make sure you have a plan A, plan B, plan C, because you might think you might be interested in one major, your freshman year, but then by your sophomore year, you take an amazing philosophy class and you've decided, you want to go in another direction.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the purpose of college, right? And so, just be ready to explore, different majors, and you could help to narrow down your list, whether it's, for school, whether it's for career path, but always keep those things in mind. Do a self-inventory of what you're good at and enjoy. I'm going to keep coming back to that. I think someone had mentioned an aptitude tests, right?
Mhm.
You have MBTI, Strengths Quest, and things like that to
Mhm.
help determine maybe something that you might be talented in and don't even know. yet, right? So that could also, to be part of it. Create a pros and cons list, right? And so when you're looking at schools, that's going to be really important. Cost is up there. So let's be realistic about how much this is going to set your family back for a few years. Do you
Right.
have scholarships that are, sitting somewhere waiting for you, right? Are you eligible for financial aid? We want to avoid taking out loans as much as possible, but really explore all of those options, the grants, financial aid, and the scholarships that are out there. And I know Felicia has some stories about scholarships, but there are scholarships out there. And so I think it's really important to consider many factors into, how you create a list of options of schools and or career paths that you would like to explore. And so, it's also good to speak to a professional. First of all, your counselor in high school is important if you're looking into colleges. That's what they're there for. But also attend college fairs. In my line of work right now, we are beginning the recruitment season. So we will be hosting, open houses, visiting different high schools in the area. I'm going to be presenting at a counselor conference in just a couple of weeks. So I will be training high school and college counselors about how to help your students navigate the college going process, which starts right now. And be ready to answer some of those questions that parents and students alike will have. But I'm gonna go back to my first point is do your research. This thing called Google and this thing called the internet is your best friend. When I was in high school, I had to go to the library and use a database. I don't know if people remember that, but we had to use a database to look up all the colleges. There was a drawer full of folders and booklets and pamphlets about the different colleges, right? But now students have the convenience on their phones, on their devices to access college websites and get all of that information. And I think, there's very little excuse at this point with these students, but there are also people to help them, guide them along, especially our first generation students who may not know how to even start. But there are people in place that are more than happy to help them figure it out and narrow down their options.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The idea of research, I think it's paramount, and sometimes in the research, one might find the college. This is the place I want to go, right? But then there is that other option, right? And the other option, even though it's the other option, it finds itself being like a primary option, where one might say, this is what I want to do. This college doesn't offer it, while this college offer it. But because this is a college that my parents go to, I feel indebted to go there. This is a college that is associated with my church. I need to go there for Christian education. Or this is a college that is affordable. I need to go there because of that. While this college, it's none of those, but it has what I really want to be. How does one navigate with that as they're doing their research?
I think I should have gone before Jeannie. Jeez. Um, so students navigate. Let me just say, it's conversation. It's conversation. Students need to navigate through conversation. They just need to conversate with the proper and correct individuals to help them find money, find how to apply for college. Parents know, and this is why it's very important for parents to be supportive, for parents to be involved in their students' education from day one. Because parents know that if their child have a desire to go to school, they know that that day is coming where college travel, I need to go college visit sites or site visits are coming. their junior year, their senior year, somewhere in between the junior and senior year for that summer. So parents need to help their child prepare for travel. Okay, so those college visits, when those colleges open up their doors and say, hey, we're having college day this day, come and visit to see if you're interested in attending the university or the college. So I think you navigate through conversation. You find the students need to find the right people, but these are students where they set goals. They need to set these goals from day one, from the beginning. You have to, as an educator, catch that student as soon as that student comes through the door. You have college night, as Jeannie said. You have college night for students in high school and say, hey, listen, we have colleges coming, representatives from different colleges in the area. They will be here tonight. Please make sure you attend if you can. And as those representatives are there, they give information to the students. They let the students know what fields they have there, what areas, degrees that they have at those colleges. Students are very, very interested. We also have military, JROTC. Students join JROTC in high school because when they get out of college, if they do not or cannot find money, do not have money, then they can join the military, and the military will pay for their college education. Not a lot of students understand, nor do they know that. Right. So a lot of students take that route. So again, they just need to navigate through the resources that they have at school, and through conversation, be advocates for themselves. Hey, listen, Dr. Simmons, I need to go to school. I would like to go to college. Can you please help me, point me in the right direction? What is it that I need to do? And I'm like, wow, yeah, let's get started today. Let's go over here and find these scholarships that you need to apply for. I have probably 150 links that I will provide for the student where they can just go down with their parents, or they could do the research themselves. Just like Jeannie said, they need to do their research. If they do their research, take a Sunday, do their research, they will find there's money out there. And all they have to do is apply for it. They will qualify for it. And their college experience will be paid for. Just have to do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is so insightful. And regardless of the situation, there are resources out there where you can actually engage and receive what the Lord has called you to. I just want us to close off with this final question on what the church can do. How can the church contribute to educating communities to have a better station in life?
I believe that the church can, one of the biggest thing is pray for us, because there's a teacher shortage right now, and the main thing that our students need right now is their education, and we need teachers. We need teachers to provide materials of instruction. We need teachers to provide the curriculum, the lectures in class. We need bus drivers. We need buses. We do not have bus drivers to transport our students to and from school. So our students, they're not coming because they do not have the means to get there. So I, as an administrator, I ask for that prayer that things change here in the near future, where we can have stable teachers that will apply and stay in the school systems, not just in the state of Maryland, but we have a teacher shortage in plenty of states. A lot of states, there are a teacher shortage. So, you can volunteer by having some of your church members to come out to volunteer for the games. We do have students that play games and work the concession stands because of the shortage that we have. You can have some of your members to come out to the school just to help us open the doors, direct the traffic in the parking lots. We have a lot of traffic because our parents are now having to drop our kids off because there's a bus shortage. We don't have anybody to drive the buses. so there's a lot of traffic in the parking lot.
So
Um,
volunteer.
yeah, so we can use the hands everywhere. We can use the volunteers everywhere. Um, we can use donate school supplies. We have a lot of students that need school supplies. So because school pencils, they're lost. The kids use the pencils up. Paper, hand sanitizer. So we could definitely use school supplies. Teachers need the materials of instruction to deliver the instruction to our students. So, chalkboards, the whiteboards, the erasers, anything that teachers use, the notebooks, the composition books, especially in the elementary schools, elementary schools, they could definitely use those, for our students in the classroom, because now they have to buy the supplies themselves.
Thank
So
you.
that would be very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, Jeannie, what's your tool as we're pulling it together?
Mentorship. I I've observed and come to realize, and this is not in all cases, but in some cases, our young people might be a little bit more receptive to somebody else outside of mom and dad, right? Because mom and dad can say the same thing to them until they're blue in the face. But let somebody else say the same exact thing and the light bulb goes off. Right, Felicia, right?
Yes.
So, but that's not a bad thing, right? Because this is our village that really helps to reinforce what
Right.
we are trying to instill in our babies at home. And so I want to touch on mentorship, right? In the church. We have young people who aspire to become doctors, lawyers in the military, or want to be federal workers, they want to go into medicine. There's all kinds of things that they want to go into, but we have church members that are successful in those career fields currently right now.
Right.
And I think it's important, and it's actually never too soon to really help students get on that path as early as possible. Share your story, share your college going story.
Right.
What did you want to be when you grow up? And
Be a
where
man-
are you now? What detours did you take along the way? And guess what? Those detours are okay. Those detours are actually part of the process to get you to where you need to be. And so making sure that students don't get discouraged by some of those detours, because they will happen. And so I think it's just making the time, whether it's just a few minutes, whether it's over a brunch event that the church puts together, whether it's attending youth events, youth programs, AY, or the socials.
Right.
Sometimes it's really that simple. And I kind of go back to what I said earlier, is meeting them where they are, right? And when they see that you're meeting them where they are, they will see how genuine you are in your approach and how genuine you are in your care. And that will make them open up to you. And that's where you can make the connections. And that's another way of how we can grow our village.
Right.
I'm a recipient of that. And that's something that I strongly believe in doing, is providing mentorship to some of our students. And sometimes those conversations might be a little forced or awkward to begin with. But I notice with teenagers and young adults, sometimes you have to kind of edge your way in a little bit, right?
Right.
Until they warm up to you. But once they warm up to you, take full advantage. We can't sit on our successes and not share it, or pay it forward, or pass it down to the generation after us. I want to make sure my kids and their friends do not suffer or struggle the way that I did. We're doing everything now to make lives for our younger people a little bit more easier to navigate, not free of any challenges, but a little bit more prepared than we were at their age.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It has been such a blessing to have both of you on today, Felicia and Jenny. You have outdone this program. You have really contributed so much, a wealth of not just information and knowledge, but you have offered yourself in such a way that I believe everyone who have watched and will re-watch this program will benefit and be more prepared in the pursuit of their passion. In a nutshell, do you have any final words that you leave with our viewers as they take this week as, that springboard towards pursuing their passion more passionately?
Yes, my last piece of advice, or my advice to you, always remember, never give up. If you have a passion that you want to pursue, please pursue that passion. You are worth it. You're definitely worth it. So please do not give up. Set your goals and go after it. Chase it. Don't give up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jenny?
It's never too soon and it's never too late, right? I think that we don't want to discourage our younger ones from thinking, 5, 6, 7 years ahead. But even when you're in your 20s or even 30s, it's never too late to pursue something that, God calls you to do, right? And so don't put yourself in that box because of where you are in your life. And one thing I can say is, God's timing is always perfect. And to trust that and to pursue your passions accordingly.
Awesome. Thank you. So don't give up. Pursue your passion. You have heard from two gurus themselves. Janie Cadet, who is also the Associate Director of Administration, Recruitment, and Persistence at the University of Maryland, and also Dr. Felicia N. Simmons, who is the Lead Administrator and 504 Facilitator, Lead Admin for Evening and Summer School for the Fort Meade High School right here in Maryland. They have shared what they have, the practices and tools to pursue one's passion and also to help one in the pursuit of their passion. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining and sharing. And again, thank you, Zoom Hope Live family, for joining and sharing into this week's episode. We will be back on the 15th of October, where we will be having an episode on domestic abuse. So you can't afford to miss that episode. But for now, go over to our website and interact with what we have there, zoomhopelive.org. Please remember, we're asking for you to follow us on our social media arms, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Please remember, subscribe. Please subscribe to our channel. As we leave you here from Zoom Hope Live, we're asking for you to be blessed, be encouraged, and continue to pursue your passion. On behalf of Kevin Spence, our technical director, I am your host, Larry Green. Listen to Kay Anthony as we leave this room. Be blessed. Until next time.
I searched this all went through just to find nobody else like you, yeah. Tried so many things just to find I'm gonna come back empty. So me run to your throne, I'm to say hallelujah. I searched this all went through just to find nobody else like you. Nobody with me in the night. Last time I compromised, I'm sorry for every single time I run from the light, yeah. Now you're calling me back home, show me I'm not alone. So now I live all my days trying to get back to that holy place, yeah. I searched this all went through just to find nobody else like you, yeah. Tried so many things just to find I'm gonna come back empty. So me run to your throne, I'm to say hallelujah. I searched this all went through just to find nobody else like you, yeah. You give me all of the grace, you break up all of the chains. Something in me had to change, I was ashamed, run away. Arms open wide, you brought me back to you. Love me like nobody working, and